Today, we are going to look at Believe It, Value It, Achieve It by Christina Johnson and Sarah Moimoi. These three key ideas fall into the goal orientation theory and the expectancy value theory. So I want to go ahead and welcome you to our presentation today. And we're going to explain why people stay motivated and how we can help understand these theories and really use them to help better our lives and the people around us. We will share what we learned from two of our AOM projects and what we learned throughout these experiences and how we can really put them forward into our daily lives. Let's get started. You will see these words repeatedly: believe it, value it, and achieve it. And hopefully at the very end of the presentation, you will see how they all come together to help acts of motivation. We're going to talk about how expectancy, value, and goal orientation theories help families, students, and professionals stay motivated, like we were saying on the very first slide. Many people really struggle with procrastination, low confidence, and fear of failure. So these theories really help us work around the lack of motivation. All right, why does motivation matter? Well, motivation affects success, it affects persistence, it affects the learning, and it affects life transitions. Motivation really affects every single area of our lives. It influences if we begin a task, how much effort we put in that task, and if we continue when things get difficult. And I know as a fellow teacher, those are really important for our students. Are you going to continue when things get difficult? And so that's why motivation really, really matters. And so a big question is, why do people stay motivated? What is going to keep them going when, you know, their goals are being challenged? Something that we learned throughout this course is that motivation is influenced by our beliefs of success, the value of what we put on that task, and the goals that we pursue. Motivation influences that. So motivation really, really matters. M&M, motivation matters. Personally, Christina and I's motivation journey, some challenges that we have both had, whether it's teaching or in our classwork, we both have procrastination. Sometimes things are very overwhelming. Sometimes we have other things going on, and also we don't want to fail. We are teachers at heart, and we want to do the best that we can do. So something that we both found out and that we've both been talking about is how motivation grows when success feels within reach. It's not so far, it's not unattainable. That work has a purpose. We are going to see growth of what we are doing, and that our goals encourage our growth. Over time, we both realize that motivation improves with these discoveries. We can get there, we can reach it. It has a purpose. It has growth can happen. And so those discoveries all connect to expectancy value theory and goal orientation theory. Here is an overview of my AOM projects. We are only going to be talking about Sarah Moimoi's My Projects, even though we did complete this YouTube video together. But project one was helping my parents prepare their home for retirement. Retirement is a huge life transition. Their home just required decluttering, organization, and really a lot of decision making. And that process was very overwhelming. It felt overwhelming for everyone involved. And then the second project was to help my husband prepare for his CDL exam. Studying was very important. The CDL exam had a lot of academic vocabulary, and English is not his first language. So having to study and apply and use all of these words and knowing their importance was very important to him. So that required focus, consistency, persistence over an extended period of time. These projects really involved different people, different goals, but they revealed a lot of the same motivational patterns. So, like I was just saying, the two projects were not with the same type of people. They were two totally different experiences, but they also had same a lot of similarities. In the parents' retirement project, the challenge, they were very overwhelmed by downsizing. It was an entire house to take care of. Our strategy really was to break tasks into smaller goals and focus on retirement benefits. How is life going to be when you are retired, when you are home all day, when you are both in the house hanging out? What needs to be done? And so when we looked at really the main strategy was breaking tasks into smaller goals. The result really was increased participation and increased confidence. In the second experience was my husband's certification. The challenge was him maintaining, staying motivated. That man did not want to continue studying whenever he was not getting the questions right, which is what I see a lot in the classroom as well. Students don't want to continue when they are not getting the concept. It's difficult. But something that I did with my husband is something that we can do in the classroom is have small goals. Focus on one thing and celebrate that one thing. If you had a 54 yesterday and today you got a 55, that's growth, baby. Let's celebrate it. Um, and with the result of focusing on the growth, whether it was career or point or whatever it was, there was a lot better consistency and a lot more persistence. Like, you know what? Yeah, I did get 1% better. Um, an insight for both of these is people are more motivated when they believe they can succeed. Focus on that growth and value the outcome. All right, the EV theory motivation depends on expectancy and value. Can I succeed? Do I even want to do this? So the formula is high expectancy, high value, high motivation. People think they can do it. They think they want to do it. They're gonna want and they're gonna do it. They're going to make it happen. Even if that mountain seems big, they're going to climb it if they want to do it. Another part of this is that it really depends on those two major factors. When those factors are low, low expectancy, low value, low motivation, and it's very clearly explained much of what I observed in both of my motivation projects. One strategy to increase that expectancy, like we were just talking about, high expectancy, you're going to get good results. So, for example, for my first AOM project, is breaking things down into manageable tasks. That result is more confidence and it's less overwhelming. So, we recommend to you create smaller goals, celebrate the progress, and scaffold it for the people. You know your students, you know your audience. I knew my parents. You know, break it up, scaffold it. Hey, let's do this, break it up, do that. And you will see a lot more success. So help people believe success is possible. Strategy 2, increase task value. That second part of the theory that we were talking about, value. In relation to my parents' example, value was connected to retirement goals. They valued less stress. They valued having a better quality of life. So the recommendation was to connect tasks to personal goals, explain the future benefits, show real world relevance, right? We can do that same thing to our students. Hey, we walk on the right side of the hallway because we drive on the right side of the road. Whatever that real world relevance is, make students see why it's important. Increase that task value. And in result, you'll have increased effort and greater persistence. Goal orientation theory, the mastery goals: learn, improve, and grow. Okay. Performance goals: they look successful, they outperform others, they seek recognition. So the key question is, are we focused on learning or are we focused on proving? What are you going to do? Are you proving to others that you can do this, or are you actually trying to learn the material? Okay. For goal orientation theory, this is the second major theory that's going to be discussed in the presentation today, and it's really how people define success. People who have mastery goals, they focus on learning and understanding and growing those bullet points that we were just talking about. And then people with performance goals, they just want the grades. They want to look good. They want to outperform their friend. They want to seek recognition. So you really want students to be in that mastery of goals. That way we can focus on the learning rather than just proving you can do more or you can do better. All right, so the third strategy that we are recommending to help promote the mastery goals is in my husband's AOM project, for example. We wanted to focus on understanding the concept, learning the material, and improving the skills, not obsessing about the scores. It doesn't matter if you got a 25 today, you got a 26 the next day. The score doesn't matter. You really want to understand and learn. If I'm looking at something that you got 26 on, hey, you knew 26% of that. That's better than 0%. Okay, if you got a 50, you knew half of it, baby. That's great. So really understanding that concept and then increasing the persistence about, hey, you got a little bit better. You did this. Give better engagement. You will get better engagement by improving skills. You will get better engagement about not obsessing over scores. Strategy 4 for goal orientation theory is reducing the fear of failure. Let's learn from my husband's example. The focus, we really focused on the practice test. The mistakes he was making on those, they became feedback. They became learning opportunities. They became targets. Let's do a little bit better. And in result of reducing that fear of failure, he had a lot more confidence. He grew more resilient. So the recommendation for this would be to normalize mistakes. Nobody knows everything. That would be weird if we knew everything. We're not computers. Encourage risk taking. You got this. I'm right here. I am your safety net. That's what I always tell the students. I am here as your safety net. And then reward their effort. For my husband, an example, like getting 1% better is the reward. But for a student, it could be eating lunch in the classroom. Whatever that is, reward their effort. Not the score, reward the effort for a student. All right, we know that any given classroom, one classroom has so many different learners. You could have struggling learners, you could have gifted learners, you have learners who don't know English, learners who know multiple languages, and then learners with disabilities, exceptionalities. So some things that you can do to help those different learners. So for struggling learners, you can build expectancy. For gifted learners, avoid perfectionism. Multilingual learners build relevance and value. And learners with exceptionalities, they might need extra supports that help them have successful participation. Those struggling learners, they really benefit from increased confidence as well. That expectancy, build them up, give them more opportunities. Gifted learners, you don't need to be perfect. We're going to avoid it. We're going to overcome it. Multilingual learners, people really benefit from learning experience that connects to their cultural background. That's so important. Bring it in the classroom. Have the foods, the colors, the art, everything you can to build that culture in your classroom. Makes it more fun and helps these diverse learners. And then those students with disabilities, help them adapt and give them that support. All right, practical interventions that we want you to know. Intervention 1, small achievable goals. Intervention 2, real world connections. Intervention 3, progress tracking. Intervention 4, reflective journals. Intervention 5, positive feedback. When I hear reflective journals as a second grade teacher, and Christine and I talked about it, we're like, whatever. But it actually really, who has time for a reflective journal with a 7 and 8 year old? We do, because it helps. Okay. Um, that reflective journals, it could be their own goals, which we've talked a lot about goal tracking, regular discussion about their progress or their challenges. They can draw a picture. Help them reflect on their own really helps their inner dialogue, their inner motivation. So intervention 4, wonderful, that's within themselves. Intervention 5, that's us hyping the students up. Okay. Let's do it. We got this, teachers. How theory connects to my acts of motivation experience. Parents' retirement, their success became achievable. Their values became clearer. In my husband's example, his career value increased and his confidence increased. So, goal orientation, learning focused, increased persistence, and reduced fear of failure. All right, what did I learn? Major lessons learned is that motivation is not fixed. Confidence influences effort. That's huge. Your confidence really comes from within, and that is what you put out. Value influences persistence, and growth encourages resilience. Personal growth is that this experience changed how I even motivate myself and others. Um, Confidence encourages effort, value creates commitment, and growth orientation goals encourage persistence. So, there you have it. That's everything that we've learned. And we've learned so much. This class was great. Yay! All right, in our future professional practice, we will build confidence, increase relevance. And this goes for students and teachers and leaders. It doesn't matter who it is. Encourage that mastery, support diverse learners, and reduce fear of failure. I know Christina and I text plenty, and we will help each other build our confidence up. Oh, hey, this was relevant. This assignment was relevant to me because we both teach second grade. And hey, I practiced this with my students. It was wonderful. Why don't you try it? Or hey, give me a call and we can both work on this so we can have mastery of it together. All of those things that we've learned in this class, that's what we're going to put into our professional practice. As we conclude, we want you to remember these few things. If you remember nothing, remember this. First, people have to believe that they can succeed, so believe it. Second, people must understand why their efforts matter, so value it. And third, people are more likely to persist when they focus on growth rather than perfection, so achieve it. Okay, believe it, value it, achieve it. We talked about it at the beginning. Believe it, value it, achieve it, expectancy, meaning, and growth. So, our challenge and call to action to you is use one motivation strategy this week. It could be to a student or a parent or educator, a leader, a friend, whoever it is, use one strategy this week. All right, teachers, let's have a great year. We got this with help of acts of motivation. Year 2026, 2027 is going to be wonderful. Thanks. Bye from Christina and Sarah.